Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Saturday. This video we are looking at the Week 3 NFL Draftkings and Fanduel picks for the Sunday's main slate. 12 games on Draftkings, 13 on Fanduel with the last game included on their main slate. We have a lot of injury news this week. You have a lot of key pieces out, so there's some obvious plays at multiple positions we'll talk about. Let's get into it. If you enjoy the content, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you have not already. You can check out the website links in the description. Follow on X. It's at the DFS process. Let's get started with the quarterback position. So you have a few options at above 7K. 2 out of the 3 are running quarterbacks with Lamar and Jalen Hurts. The Ravens need to win desperately. Lamar's looked pretty pedestrian last week. Not really having a great fantasy game against a pretty bad Raiders defense, except for that defensive line. And then week 1 he played well against the Chiefs, but still wasn't enough to get the win. Going into Dallas, we just saw what Derek Carr and the Saints did against him. I think he's a great play if you want to pay up for a quarterback. You also have Jalen Hurts at 73, a couple $100 cheaper. He gets a matchup in the Dome in New Orleans. Saints, they're going to put up points. Eagles are missing A.J. Brown, so it's a little easier to stack Hurts with Devontae Smith, and you kind of know the volume will be there this week. I think this game's going to be high scoring. Another decent option. Like both of those guys better than Stroud. You have Kyler Murray at home, was looking good. Really good season so far for him. Finally got a couple big plays to Marvin Harrison Jr. last week, and feel like they can keep it going against a Detroit defense. Another game that has some firepower there. No Tua, so that kind of hurts the entire Miami offense. It makes Hill look less appealing, makes A-Chain look less appealing. You're going to have Skylar Thompson be the quarterback. I'm not really interested in a ton of options here. The Dolphins aren't projected to score a ton of points. They have the 6th lowest total. And then below $6,000, you have Derek Carr. If you want to stack him with a couple of weapons, you could stack him with Kamara, do a double stack with Kamara, and then with Olave or Shaheed. But a cheap quarterback is Geno Smith at 56 in Seattle. Threw 44 times last week. He's a guy that can run a little bit, 4 and 5 carries or attempts on the ground the first 2 weeks. Matchup here against a Miami team is quarterbacks haven't really thrown the ball a ton against Miami. It's been 19 and 21 attempts for them so far in the first 2 weeks against the Miami defense. Seattle should get off to a lead. We know they like to run the ball a little bit, but at 56, I like the price tag for Geno Smith. He's a nice cheap option in that range. I feel better about him than Stafford missing his top 2 weapons, than Caleb, than Deshaun Watson. And then if you wanted to go super cheap, I don't even hate going down to Andy Dalton. He's a guy that's looking to get an opportunity. He's had a lot of opportunities in the past. He can put up fantasy points. He has some weapons with Deontay Johnson and Thielen, so it's not a terrible spot. Just a matter of how much how much points they're going to score and how much they're going to open up the playbook for Andy Dalton in his first start. So right now I like Geno just to give me a cheap quarterback here. At running back, you got a couple of obvious plays. Jordan Mason at $6,200. With the 49ers being super banged up, McCaffrey, as we know, is on IR. Mason is getting the touches. Playing 80% of the snaps at running back. They're going to be missing Debo, and it looks like Kittle's going to be missing as well. So they're losing a ton of key pieces, and you get Jordan Mason against a really good matchup here. A team that's just been terrible on the ground in the Rams. They're going to rely on Mason. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets over 20 carries like he has. Second running back option, we're to Houston. I'm throwing in Cam Akers. You have Mixon is doubtful, so Akers is going to be the second guy that gets the opportunities. He does have and has had some fumbling issues in the past, but if you're getting a $4,700 starting running back, no Pierce as well, he's going to get the bulk of the touches. Obvious cash play stuff to avoid in a lot of tournaments as well. There's not really any other running back at his price range that's going to get as many touches as Akers will this week. And then I'm going with the 3 running back approach. I'm going to throw Mason in the flex position so we can throw Kamara here, the regular running back spot. But you're getting, I think, the Saints, their offense has been humming first 2 weeks. Eagles' defense has been okay, but they they're not the best at some spots. Linebackers, they struggle with. Their defensive line has struggled. They're not getting anything out of Bryce Huff, who they paid a lot of money to in the offseason. Points in the first 2 weeks, 5 touchdowns already for Kamara. He's looking like he is ready to put up some big numbers this year. Eagles defense, like I said, they've been getting some, they haven't been great, so I like Kamara 75 in the dome. He's always great at home, and the Saints are looking at him a lot in many opportunities to get rushing touchdowns, and then Carr's looking at him in the passing game as usual. Going over to receivers, a few obvious plays. Debo missing, Kupp missing, Nakua missing, A.J. Brown missing. So I'm going to start with throwing Devontae Smith in there. You get him at $6,900. Going to be heavily targeted by Jalen Hurts. Like him, 10 targets last week without A.J. Brown. Couldn't see similar numbers again, 7 catches. He's going to look to him possibly in the red zone opportunities too, even though he's not the biggest guy out there. But under 7K, number 1 wide receiver for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. I'm going to take him at that price tag. And then you're going to have to play Brandon Ayuk. Very tough to pass on him at $6,200, missing both Debo and Kittle, looks like. And then obviously we know McCaffrey's missing, so it's going to be Ayuk and Jennings, guys that are going to get opportunities. And Ayuk, finally a great spot for him to pay off that big contract extension that he got. A couple of down weeks to start off the year. Now he's going to be the main focus point for the 49ers offense, so he's going to be a guy that I want to get in to lineups. And then you have a lot of other cheap plays here. We know that the Rams are missing their top 2 receivers, so you have Robinson is going to get opportunities at $5,000. You have Jennings at $4,100, number 2 receiver for the for the 49ers. He's going to get opportunities. You have Johnson for the Rams, $4,700. He's going to get opportunities. And then your top end, without Tua, I don't like Hill at receiver. CD's great. I'm going to get up to him. I like him more than Jefferson still. And then Amon-Ra was a little banged up, but it looks like he's going to give it a go. And then you got guys in the 7K range that look fine, but I think there's other pieces that I like more. Want to take a shot on like Olave at 63, could be a little bit lower owned. And 5K range, it's going down to the couple that I mentioned. And then you have Shaheed as tournament play, 53, a really good boomer bust play. You can win you tournaments, and that's if you're playing GPPs. He's definitely a guy to look at too. Tight end, Brock Bowers, really good option this week. He's becoming a security blanket for Minshew. He's a guy that over the middle can get you touchdowns too if they start looking his way more in the red zone and they get more scoring opportunities. Going up against the Panthers, great spot for them to put up some points. Goddard, even though Hurts and him haven't always been on the same page, he's still a guy that you can look to. Ferguson at 45. And then the Rams missing some pieces. Parkinson, even though he let a lot of people down last week. And then looking to the Saints, still Foster Moreau is getting a lot of the snaps, and he's only 26. I like him as a value. Defenses, cheap defenses that you could look to. Vikings defense been putting up numbers, but that Houston offense is scary. Pay up a little bit. You got some value at some other spots, so you could look to the Steelers against Herbert and company, and Herbert still has a Q tag. You could pay up for the Seahawks defense against Skyler. Without Tua, they look good at home. Get to them. 49ers against a very banged up Rams team. So there's some pay up spots at defense this week, unlike some other weeks. And then 26 for the Bears, you could do that. Richardson looked pretty bad last week. But these are the guys that I really like right now. Still easy, $4,300. Go cheap at defense. Throw in a mid tight end, then you can still got 5-6K to pay up for a receiver. So that's what I got for DK. FanDuel's pretty similar. I'll just show you the picks. On FanDuel, it's easier to pay up for a quarterback, so I got Hurts, $8,500. Don't mind going up to Lamar if you wanted to. At 88, but I got Hurts at 85. Still going with the same running backs that I have over on DraftKings. I like Kamara at 84. Barkley's a good play too, if you wanted to get to him. You have Akers. He's really, really tough to pass up at $4,000 here on FanDuel. And then Jordan Mason I got at 83. Still want to try to pay up for him at a decent price tag. Still going to get a ton of volume. Receivers, Ayuk and Smith. Smith is 8K, a little bit more expensive, but in that range, I still like him a lot. You have more other options to pivot. Go with Rice, go with Harrison, Nico Collins, but still think if we can get 9-10 targets for Devontae Smith, I'll take it. Ayuk's tough to pass at $6,500 only, and then still the value pieces that I mentioned over on DraftKings that you can look to with Demarcus Robinson and going with Juwan Jennings, maybe Tyler Johnson as some value pieces. GPP, like take a shot on Cooper if you wanted to. Worthy at 6K. Tight end, still Brock Bowers is my favorite option. He's not that expensive at 63 on FanDuel. And then you got the values that I talked about with Parkinson, maybe going down to Foster Moreau. And defense, same deal, like Seahawks, like the Steelers. Want to pay down a bit, you could take a shot on the Chargers at 39, below 4,000. Take a shot on the Titans if Jordan Love is not playing. But other than that, that's what I got for week 3. There's some good plays. Hopefully they pan out for us this week. Best of luck if you are tailing, and I will see you all next time.